President Biden's federal policy will prevent businesses from having to decide whether to require employees to get vaccinated. Now they'll be mandated. Joining us now to take a closer look at this controversial move is attorney Jonathan Bell. He specializes in employment and labor law. Attorney Bell, always a pleasure. Welcome back to BNC Live, sir. So what do you think about the president's mandate? He wants businesses to help stop the spread of COVID with this new vaccine mandate, but will we expect to see lawsuits in states like Florida saying, not so fast?
Well, for federal employees, it's a no-brainer. The president has the authority to mandate that policy. The federal government is the United States' biggest employer, and we already know that employers can mandate their employees to take the vaccine. So that not only goes for federal employees, it goes for contractors, healthcare workers when they accept federal funding like Medicaid and Medicare. The question really is for the mandate of the private sector businesses with 100 or more employees. He's enforcing it through the Department of Labor, saying you have to either have vaccines or for private sector, you need to get tested once a week. I don't believe he has the authority to do that. There has been a Supreme Court decision on that in the past, that state and local governments can require private sector to do that, but private sector employers don't take federal funding, and I believe the president is overstepping his authority in that situation.
All right, so what about if, okay, wait, I'm sorry. So you said you think the federal government is overstepping their authority? Did I hear that correctly?
With respect to the private sector, there's a couple of things he said last night. Number one, he said federal employees have to be vaccinated, no exceptions, no weekly testing. He is allowed and permitted to do that because the federal employees are employed by the federal government. However, part of the mandate is for private companies like supermarkets that have 100 or more employees. He's requiring the employees to either be vaccinated or undergo weekly testing. He can't do that, in my opinion. That's really overstepping his authority. He doesn't have the authority to require these private sector employees to do it. Now, governors do, local government, state government, they have the authority. So, for example, here in New York State, if the governor wants to mandate all employees to be vaccinated, they can do that.
Okay. So I want to ask you something else. What if you are fully vaccinated, right, and you work at a place where they're not enforcing the new mandate? In Black colloquialism, should you drop a dime, or better yet, tell an authoritative figure? What should you do?
Well, if you're concerned about your safety and there is a mandate in effect, for example, if you work at one of these companies with 100 more employees, you should report that to your supervisor, because technically, if it is substantiated that he does have this authority, for each violation, the employer could be fined $14,000. So if you're concerned for your safety, you absolutely should report it up the chain of command. And if not, then you could report it to the Department of Labor and OSHA, which is meant to enforce this mandate.
All right, Attorney Bell, is there a way to get around this? Because we got millions of Americans who have not moved forward and rolled up their sleeves. Do you think this is really going to push them to do that?
For healthcare workers, for federal employees, for contractors, in other words, places that take federal funds, there's no way around it. For private sector, people with 100 or more employees, you either have to get vaccinated or you have to get the testing once a week. There's no way around it unless you go in through a medical accommodation, you have a disability where you can't take the vaccine, or a bona fide religious exemption. But it can't be you wake up one day and you feel like you're part of a religion that doesn't allow you to take the vaccine. It has to be bona fide.
All right, so Delta Airlines, they recently instituted a $200 insurance fee for folks who are unvaccinated. Now, my question to you is, the airline, they now have about 78% of its staff that is vaccinated. Can we expect to see more tactics like this moving forward?
100%. The unvaccinated is not a protected class under the law, like race, age, religion, gender, disability. So you can make different rules that apply to the unvaccinated employees. However, again, there should be an exception. If someone can't take the vaccine due to the religious belief or disability, you shouldn't be singling those out. You should not be charging them the additional amount if they have the documentation to support it.
Okay, how will the president's controversial move, do you really think that will help the economy recover?
Well, according to what I'm hearing from the government and what I'm hearing from science, the more people that get vaccinated, the more we can get this under control. So if we assume those facts to be true, which I assume them to be true, then yes, more people will in turn be vaccinated, and hopefully we can come back to more normalcy. However, I believe that people are very steadfast in their feelings. They'd rather be unemployed in certain situations than get the vaccine. We still have children under 12 years old. They can't be vaccinated. We have people who are not in the workforce who are not getting vaccinated. So that still leaves millions upon millions of people who are going to be unvaccinated. I don't know if that's enough, but the president's doing what he believes is right, which is getting as many people vaccinated as possible to try to move beyond this pandemic.
So, Attorney Bell, I see you're in your office right now. What's the situation where you work? Is everyone required to be vaccinated?
So where I work, I'm in Garden City, Long Island. I'm not in the city. I allow all my attorneys to work from home if they want to. But to answer your question, I encourage all my employees to be vaccinated. We do have a couple that do not want to get vaccinated, and I've asked them, if you're unvaccinated, wear a mask when you're in public places, in the office. If you have your own office and you could close the door, you could take your mask off at that point. Although I'm well within my rights to require people be vaccinated, I don't want to lose these workers. These people are very important to my company.
So I'm assuming they must live outside of the city, because you can't do anything of fun and entertainment in New York City without being vaccinated.
That's right. That's right. The vast majority of my employees are in Long Island. That's right.
Got it. All right, Attorney Bell, thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure, sir. I hope you enjoy your weekend.